What's happening, everybody? We are going to be talking, by we I mean I am going to be talking about the game being played right here. We have Doublewide, Texas, polling to Revolver. Revolver's out of San Francisco, the Bay Area. And this was the semifinals game of last year's Club Nationals. And so Sky Ultimate has give me access to this. I appreciate that, Sky Magazine, for allowing me to do some commentary on this game. Now, this is a huck right away from Robbie to Bo here. Ends up calling a foul, but this was a pretty windy game. The observer rules no foul. This was a pretty windy game. And as you can see, there's going to be quite a lot of turnovers in this game, and it's going to be a lot about what team can kind of make the least amount of mistakes, really, because both teams are going to turn the disc over. That's a great catch there by Kurt. We had a pretty good tournament up to this point. We played Shane and did really well against them, and we had a tough game against Boston. In power pools, ended up losing that game after being up 13-10. But we are feeling pretty good about our chances in this game. There's a drop by Jake and giving Revolver basically a disc right on their doorstep, which is never something you want to do. You always want to make the offense have to go a full 70 if you can. So turns in your red zone are always tricky. And there's Wiseman here with a nice little forehand to the foreside for a goal for Revolver. Our defense not capitalizing there. That's going to be kind of a theme for us here in this game, is our defense not capitalizing. But basically, Revolver, going back to kind of coming into this game, Revolver had a really pretty much a smooth sailing tournament leading up into this game. They weren't really ever tested, really, and so they were feeling good, we were feeling good, and it all came down to just execution. And so here's Kurt with a filthy hammer to Tank over the top. Great bid there by Revolver, just out of his reach a little bit. So Tank scores. We don't actually have the score of the game going. These are kind of just clips. I think this is a few points into the game, actually. We got broken the first point, I think. So I think we're down 2 breaks or something here, and this isn't going to have the end of the. This won't have the end of the game on there either. Revolver ends up beating us, I think, 15-12. But you can at least see some. Right now we're playing our 4-man cup zone, so hopefully this will help you just kind of see some elite ultimate. These are 2 of the best teams right now in the world, and so you can kind of see exactly what teams are doing. So Revolver's being really patient here, running their offense through Robbie, hitting wide open hammer there to Bo, and then Bo just kind of flicks it forward there for the goal. With the wind, coming out and playing zone, it might not have been as windy as we wanted it to be really successful. But something as defense, a smart strategy with defense is you definitely don't want to ever leave the game going, could we have played zone, or could we have switched up our defenses? If you're doing the same defense the entire game and you end up losing, you're going to be thinking, could we have done something different? So that's us just kind of mixing up early. Revolver really kind of worked their offense very easily, so we wanted to change it up and see what they could do. And the hammer that Robbie threw was a close hammer to Bo, so we'll take that for now. So there's our vert offense here. Tank throwing it up to me on the foreside. And as you can see, we're kind of shallow. We don't have anyone really stretching and making those cuts. Kurt ends up making a nice up line cut there for a goal. But if you watch that last thing, you could see that once I got the disc and turned up field, there really wasn't another cut off of that. And so that's something that you want to make sure that you have, is that flow. One cut right after another. And you'll watch Revolver here. They'll do a good job of continuing their flow, so from one cut. So they move it up to the foreside. They immediately have a guy attacking the other foreside, moving it up, and then there's another guy moving the disc. So you can see that they have people pushing up the field, and that's really what you want to do for your offense. If you get a point, when you go out and practice and stuff, if you ever get in a time where you see like 4, 5, 6 people around the disc, that's probably going to be a time where you want to stop and kind of, that's a nice little break mark throw there by Robbie. But that's going to be a time where you want to stop and kind of talk to the offense about generating space downfield and getting those continued cuts off of each other, because that's really how you're going to move the disc downwards and get big yards, is those continue cuts one right off the other. So now I think we're working into a vert stack. Here we go. Chase ends up going deep, doesn't get it, foul is called. But we're really actually struggling. Revolver has one of the best. There's a huck to Kurt, and it kind of floats a little bit at the last end. Tank makes a good bid on it, but I end up overthrowing Kurt, and it goes out of bounds. But as you can see, our offense is a little stagnant right now. We're a little tired maybe. The Revolver really is their defensive pressure. They really do. You see, they don't give any easy throws. And talking about an easy throw right here, Mac thinks he has one, but Kurt kind of shows why he's one of the best players in the country right there with that nice foot block. He does that a lot actually with his feet. And that's something that you can look at. It wasn't an aggressive move. He didn't, come into the thrower there. But if you're in a position where the guy's going to throw it, you might as well just stick your foot out and hope to get some plastic on it. So Kurt there calls a timeout. We start with a vert stack. Kurt breaks it off to me. And then there's this is what I'm talking about. See, there's Tank out there. Nice continue pass, getting the disc flowing from one side to the other. And as you can see, though, we're still a little stagnant. There's a hammer over the top to Kurt. Great catch there. But you can see our offense is still a little stagnant at times. And that's something we're definitely working on in the offseason is getting a more efficient offense and getting everyone on the same page. So here's a pull down to Revolver. There's Chicken, played for Colorado for a long time. Did a really good job there. Here's Bart Watson, one of the better handlers in the game, to Wiseman, who is just a speedy cutter. And there's Rasmussen making a nice little cut there. And that was a problem for us too in this game, is Revolver really did exploit a lot of matchup problems, and they did a really good job of making their cuts, making some deep cuts for the throwers to really give them a lot of easy scores like that one right there. All right, here's me going deep right away, and as you can see, I pull that guy 20, 30 yards off a chase. The issue, though, is what did we gain? We really didn't gain too much from that, and that's kind of a problem. We really want, if you got someone poaching 20 yards, you want to be able to get an under and then get another under off of that, rather than, we kind of just swung it to the middle of the field and got no yards. There's a loopy break, and then another loopy break up to Barrett with a nice grab. One of the Kansas transfers coming down from Kansas. Travel was ended up calling. It goes back to DJ on the throw. Here's Kurt working the disc around, doing a great job of pivoting. Not only just pivoting to pivot, but pivoting to be able to make that next throw. Now, you couldn't see it on camera, though, but I made one of the biggest mistakes that you can make right now in Ultimate, and that's trying to suck out extra yardage from passes. Like I said, you couldn't see it on camera, but Kurt ended up throwing me a backhand, and instead of just attacking it and grabbing it, I ended up trying to jump it in, I think, to the end zone, and ended up dropping the disc. So the lesson to learn from that is when the disc is in the air, do whatever it takes to just get the disc. Don't try to, get a few more yards to score. Just do whatever it has to take to catch the disc. That's the most important thing, is possession, not necessarily making a goal. There's a big collision there between Tank and Sherwood, but the game continues on. There's DJ on the mark here next to the sideline, looking to break it off. We're playing pretty good defense here to try to get the disc back. Sherwood throws a little bit of a blade hammer there, kind of tough for the receiver to catch, but we end up calling timeout. But we did play good defense there on the turn, and that's very important for your offense. Your offense isn't supposed to go out and be 100%. It's going to be 0% chance that's actually happening. You're going to have turns. The most important thing, there's me rounding my cut a little bit, but for travel. But the most important thing is how well your offense does at getting the disc back. So a stat that you might want to take is not just offensive turns, but how many times did you have a chance to, not get broken. So if your offense is going out there and having, let's say you have 10, 11 turns a game, and you're only getting the disc back like twice, that's not a great ratio there. So that's definitely something to look at, is how well your offense is generating turns. And a lot of it, and you can see right here, we're kind of having a matchup problem. We just have this guy wide open, and a lot of it has to do with that, is how quickly can you match up with the guys. And then also, teams are being smarter now, and that's the end of the vid, but teams are being smarter now on creating those matchup problems. So hopefully you guys like that. Be sure to click on the other videos, check them out, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.